Hi y'all, Tracey, Trials of a Long-Haired Girl here. Just wanting to take a minute. I know I just did a check-in, but just kind of wanted to talk about my intuitive eating journey thus far. I kind of touched on it briefly when I did my update video, but kind of here's the thing. I did not realize exactly how guilty I felt eating certain foods. As I've heard Jen Clayton say repeatedly, and others, no food is good or bad, but you know, it's all about choices. And I know I've heard, like, the Weight Watchers leaders and stuff like that, I know I've heard them say that, but when you put in a bowl of cereal, sorry, I have one hair. When you put in a bowl of cereal and it takes up 3/4 or half of your points for the day, it makes it hard to want to make that choice again. And kind of here's the thing. As I said in my update video, I've been doing Weight Watchers since before my husband and I got married. Like even before we started dating. So I've been paying Weight Watchers for a long time. And I've been listening to a number of books. I've been doing, I've been listening to books. I've been trying to educate myself, not just on intuitive eating, topic specific, but just kind of things in general. And one of the things in one of the books that I was listening to, she has a podcast called Nutrition for the Busy Physician, or something, or Weight Loss for the Busy Physician, something to that effect. I'll look it up and put it in here. I believe her name is Katrina Ubel. But kind of one of the things that she says, which I know Weight Watchers promotes initially, is for your focus not to be on exercise primarily, because exercise is not what's going to get you to your weight. It doesn't help. She said studies have shown that it doesn't necessarily help to get you to your goal weight. And in fact, I was listening to another YouTuber the other day, specifically for people over 50, and she kind of said the same thing. It actually stresses your body out, and you may wind up gaining weight, even though you're trying to lose weight. So she said not to force the issue. Initially focus on your nutrition, but then to try to add workouts in. And the intuitive eating books also stated something similar. Focus on your nutrition first, focus on your eating, and going through the steps. And kind of, it may seem odd. Okay, here, let me tell you the backstory for a second. Long about high school. Okay, for those of you that don't know my story, and I will share more of it with pictures later on, but I was an extremely skinny kid. Like, my mom, I remember her telling me she took me to the doctor because I wouldn't gain weight. And I've heard other family members say the same thing. She took me to the doctor because no matter how much I ate, I would not gain weight. Fast forward, I went to daycare, I started school. By the way, oddly enough, applesauce was not my favorite thing as a kid. I can eat it as an adult, and did while I was on Weight Watchers, but yeah, that was not a thing I enjoyed as a kid. It was a texture thing, I'm certain. But like, I was an extremely skinny kid. Then fast forward, I went to school. I went to kindergarten, then went to 1st and 2nd grade at a school that wound up getting shut down. I was too young to understand the specifics. But they closed the school down, and I apparently was just beside myself. I am not, even to this day, I am not a huge fan of change. Like, I'm just not. This is part of the reason why it took me so long to let go of Weight Watchers, because your girl is not a fan of change. But this, for me, took the... oh, I can't think of the word. Anyway, I ate myself into multiple pant sizes. Like, I increased. My mother was worried about me gaining weight. And for those of you who are old enough to remember when they would have, like, the cafeteria and stuff downstairs, and they would put bars, you know, they would put the bars there to keep people out when school was not in session, I could slip through the bars. I was that small. And I know that because a girlfriend of mine lived right across the street from the school, and we would go over there when I would be at her house. I never went down the stairs. I was too scared. I was a scaredy cat. I was not breaking the law. I was not breaking the rules. But you know, I couldn't not do it because they dared me. Anyway, so fast forward, I gained weight. I don't even remember how many pant sizes my mother said I increased in such a short period of time. I want to say it was like 2 or 3. Like, I gained a good amount of weight. I went from being the thin little bitty child that people could count ribs, and even family members were afraid to play with me, to the girl who classmates made fun of me because I was overweight. So I kind of went from one extreme to the other. I had friends that moved with me to the new school, but because of my own insecurities, I had a hard time imagining how many people would be there, and if it was going to be the people that I was truly friends with, etc. Anyway, so I gained a great deal of weight, and I was overweight probably until middle school. I would say that I kind of grew into my weight, but for those of y'all that know, I'm not tall. I'm 4'10", so I didn't grow very much. I think I kind of thinned out a little bit in middle school, but I was never really thin compared to like the other girls in school. So I was kind of made fun of. When I went into high school, I was in color guard. I was getting some more activity, and I thinned out some, kind of maintained my weight, but in my mind, I was still fat. And that's what I would tell you. I was fat. And the funny thing is, I found pictures when I was kind of organizing that if I could be as fat as I was in that picture, I'd be a happy girl right now. But I digress. What I remember as I'm going through the workbook or the journal, whichever one it is I'm doing, is I recall getting a salad in middle school. And because I was so insecure and bothered by my weight, I would get a salad, which was probably 1 leaf of lettuce, maybe a tomato, and a black olive, and a little bit of dressing, and I would call that lunch. Sometimes I would splurge and get some ham, but my goal was to get like a 10-cent salad. Seriously though. I did not realize that I had disordered eating until I was talking to my son's therapist, and she actually asked me about it. And kind of she gave me the definition of it, which I don't have with me. Obviously, I have nothing with me but a dog who is wandering around on the porch and won't go down those stairs because he's scared. Won't even go up the stairs. Anyway, I didn't realize I had disordered eating until she asked me. But then I can remember later on in high school, specifically I can tell you it was probably between sophomore and junior, or junior and senior, I basically quit eating. I probably did what is now called OMAD, or, fasting. I would literally not eat. Like, I might eat one meal a day. It would be, quite honestly, it would not be the most nutritional meal. Sometimes it would be a burger from Jack in the Box and some French fries. But it was not super healthy. Or I would go home and, Mom would fix something. Because usually when I would do this, I would do it when my mom was working, or if I was at a friend's house. And I lost down, my average, as I recall, was a size 7. That's where I kind of stayed for the majority of the time. I lost down to where I could fit. My cousin had a pair of Guess overalls, which I absolutely loved, that she gave to me that were a size 3. I managed to fit in them for a minute. I had a mini skirt, which, again, because I'm not tall, it's not mini on me. That was a size 5. But for the most part, I was a size 7. I was a size 7. Well, I had gained some weight. And right before I found out I was pregnant with my son, I had lost back down to a 7, or I could fit in my ex's jeans at the time, which were a 28-inch waist. That's mostly what I remember. So I've kind of had an issue with food for a long time. And so kind of what I realized when I started looking into intuitive eating. And I knew that I would gain weight. I knew this going in. But I think part of it is because of my disordered eating past. I needed to be okay with having certain foods, and I credit Weight Watchers. There are some foods that I would not have been able to eat or bring into the house without wanting to eat all of it. Like, eat it until the container was gone. And, for those of you who can eat Halo Top, God bless you, because I can't. It triggers me to eat a ton of sugar. Like, I crave sugar, so I can't do it. That being said, I know if we bring ice cream in the house, for instance, I kind of have this general idea in the back of my head. My husband used to work at Baskin-Robbins many moons ago, and I have it in my head that if I scoop the ice cream, it's not going to look nearly as good as if he scoops the ice cream. So I just don't scoop the ice cream. I just don't. I wait until he's around and he can scoop the ice cream, and we generally will have ice cream together. We don't do it several times a week typically. We'll do it maybe one night a week. I don't really bring cookies or sweets in the house. When I do, there are certain ones that I still know that I struggle with. But like I said in my update video, I am losing battery. Hold on, let me change battery. Okay, I'm back. And now I've forgotten where I was. stink. Here, let me adjust this. Oh, I had gotten down to a size 7. Or I could fit in my ex's 28-inch jeans. When I got pregnant with my son, I gained up to 152. I quit trying to diet. I quit trying to starve myself. But like, there are still certain things that I know that I can't just bring in the house. Certain cookies. Fudge grams, for instance, the last time that I purchased some, I ate the entire container in like 2 days. Like, seriously. I have learned what I can eat and what I can't. And like, my husband bought me the pies, which I talked about in my update video. And quite honestly, I could eat one of those mini pies. Ironically enough, the serving size is 2. I could eat one of those pies and be satisfied. And then, until I felt like I needed something sweet, like the next day or whatever, and then I would have one pie. So there are definitely a lot of things that I can go back and say, before Weight Watchers, I probably would not have done that. I probably would have tried to eat the entire package of mini pies. Can I say that my time on Weight Watchers was wasted? No, I can't. There are lots of things that I feel like have improved since I did Weight Watchers. However, I think because I was eating at such a low point, I think any change that I would have made, whether it was intuitive eating or trying to change the plan, etc., I think any of that would have caused me to gain weight. Maybe not to this point, but I needed to remind myself that food, whatever food I choose, is a choice that I am making, and not that it is necessarily good or bad or evil or, and I know that sugar is not necessarily the best for us, but every now and again, a girl craves a Snickers or Reese cup or a mini cherry pie. Sometimes that happens, and something that Colleen Christensen, No Food Rules, I believe is her handle on Instagram, but her YouTube is under Colleen Christensen. If you follow her at all, one of the things that she says, which I have personally found to be true, is that if you don't allow yourself to have the thing that you're craving, then you're going to just eat whatever until you get the thing that you're craving. Sometimes it's a mental thing. Every now and again, I crave a Snicker bar. But I'm also learning to decipher when it's truly a craving, that if I have, for instance, a mini Snicker bar, that it will pass, or if I need an entire Snicker bar, like a full-size one, not a giant necessarily, but like a full-size Snicker bar. But, one of the things that I've been focusing on, yes, I told you, I've been listening and reading and going through a lot of books, trying to research and figure out kind of what I need to do, what would be best for my body. So one of the things that I've been trying to do this past week was not so great, because honestly, I was craving a PB&J several days this week. But I don't feel guilty about it because that's what my body wanted. I wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a big old glass of milk, so I had it. But one of the things that I have been trying to do, generally speaking, is I'm trying to have vegetables for 2 out of the 3 meals that I'm having every day. So sometimes that was, like, at one point I fixed a Denver omelet inspired casserole, breakfast casserole, with bell pepper and ham and some green onions, and I put it all in the casserole, and that's what we ate for breakfast. Mostly me. And some days I would pair that with a toasted biscuit. Some days I would just have it by itself. I've done bowls of cereal, and I don't feel guilty about it. If I want a big old bowl of cereal, I have a big old bowl of cereal. But I don't just sit and eat to finish the plate, just to finish the plate. I've been eating a lot of salads. I told my husband I have been looking up I have never in my life, because I was never a fan of like oil and vinegar and stuff like that until I became an adult. Like, that was not something we had in our house. It was always ranch dressing. And what I've found is I am not a huge fan of the pre-prepared bottled dressings. The only thing that I can truly say that I enjoy if you have a Jersey Mike's and you've tried it, the sub in a tub, I generally do Mike's Way, which is red wine vinegar and olive oil. It's that kind of oil and vinegar with some seasoning. And I told my husband, we bought some red wine vinegar, I bought some provolone, I bought some turkey, and I told my husband, I said, I am ridiculously excited to try a copycat or a homemade version of the turkey and provolone sub in a tub with the red wine vinegar and olive oil. I'm ridiculously excited for that. And that's the thing that I'm kind of realizing. I am getting more excited about what is commonly looked at as a healthier option, although I know not everybody likes oil and vinegar, and it took me, like I said, I was an adult before I had it. And now I can say I don't enjoy all of it, but I enjoy some of it. And the other thing that I'm realizing is, I enjoy the salad kits. One of my favorites is still the dill pickle salad kit. I love it. That makes me extraordinarily happy. So I'm kind of learning to pick and choose the things that I like and I enjoy, the things that are better for my body, because quite honestly, there are some days that my body craves a salad. I'm craving vegetables. This is a thing that I want to continue to do. I want to listen to my body. I want to figure out kind of where I am, but I also don't want to I grew up in a household, and that's something that is a big change for me doing this journey, is I grew up in a household where eating with the TV on, we didn't do it when I was a little girl, but we did it when I was older. We would eat a lot with the TV on. We would sit at the table and eat dinner and watch TV. And because of the way that the house was set up, we could do that. And so trying to put the cell phone away when I'm sitting at the table with my husband and my son, trying to put the phone away, trying not to distract myself with TV or other things, that has been an interesting part of this journey. Have I perfected it? Probably not. No, honestly, I can say I have not. There are still days that I eat lunch sitting in front of my computer trying to work and multitask. By the way, salads are not super easy to do that with, but there you go. I don't know, I am trying to learn myself and learn what my body craves and what sounds good, and whether it's actually a craving or whether it's something that I just want. Like in my head, I want this thing and I'm not going to be satisfied until I get this thing, whatever this thing is. So truly it's a journey, but like right when I was this close to talking to my husband about doing Weight Watchers again or following points or something like that, I heard Colleen Christensen do a podcast about, like, she and one of the women who works with her, who I believe is also a dietitian or a nutritionist, I don't recall. But they were actually talking about when you start your intuitive eating journey, you really and truly have to be okay with the process. And it's not always an easy process. And they said, they were talking about their own struggles with it. And Colleen Christensen, while she was overweight, she lost her weight in a different way. Like she did intuitive eating, but she did it in a different way than is, talked about in the books and things like that. But her partner, or one of the women that works with her, they were talking about their process and how they did it. And they said, it's really easy to fall back into that once you start gaining the weight and stuff. It's very easy to fall back into that, oh, I need to go on a diet to lose the weight. But the problem is, as we know, babies will eat when they're hungry and stop when they're done. They don't just shovel food in their mouth. But as adults, we tend to just shovel food in our mouth. We don't enjoy it necessarily. We eat to satisfy whatever. And as we grow into adults, and there's baggage that comes with, we emotionally eat, which is one of the things that Katrina Ubell talked about in her book. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're emotionally eating. But that is a big topic. And it's a big topic for me because when we would celebrate, we would have food. When we were sad, when somebody passed, etc., we would have food. When, I was frustrated about a situation, I would eat. When I was depressed because a relationship, breakup, whatever, I would eat. So we would eat when we were happy, we would eat when we were sad, we would eat when we were mad or frustrated, we would eat when we had a bad day. And this is all emotionally eating. And that's one of the habits that I myself am trying to break during this journey. So anyway, I have really rambled for a long time. And hopefully y'all will forgive me. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight as to what I have been doing on this journey and kind of how I got here. I am hoping by sharing this journey that if there are others who are in a similar situation, that you realize that you're not alone. You're not by yourself. It is truly a process, and it is, for me, it is causing me to deal with a lot of things that I had forgotten or buried deep. And that's one of the things that prompted me to do this is because I know that there are many things that I have gone through in my life that maybe you haven't, but you maybe still are in the same situation with me where you have been doing a program, any program, whether it's Weight Watchers, for me it was Weight Watchers, but if you were doing Weight Watchers or something else for a lengthy period of time, and you've just found that whatever it is no longer serving you the way that it did in the beginning, which is what it was with me. And I even said to my doctor, I'm like, I've been doing Weight Watchers, but I'm not really losing weight. Can you check can you check these levels, blah, blah, blah. He checked, everything was fine, and I'm like, so why am I not losing weight? And I'm like, and he looked at me when I said I'm doing Weight Watchers, and he said, if it's not serving you, why are you still doing it? Which I think was the beginning of the end for me, because that really gave me some food for thought. Why am I doing it if it's not serving me? And there were times when I would lose, but then I would gain. So I'm kind of doing all this research and putting it all together to figure out how to best serve me. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to wind up in a situation where my children have to take care of me because of something that I could have done to prevent whatever was happening, or prevent it from getting so bad. So, I need to move on. I need to move forward, and I need to move past kind of what I've been doing. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.